Hi, BookTube. This is Johnny. It's been a couple of days, at least. I can't remember how many days. I just haven't got around to it. Either I've been spaced out, or my wife is home, and I haven't had any time to be alone, or I've been too tired, or I'm just kind of like, hey, I have to get into certain kind of a state of being, I suppose, to make a BookTube video, because I'm not one of your professional book reviewers. I suppose I am just dead serious. So it is morning here in West Michigan. It is going on, according to the wall clock up there, it is going on 9:37. According to the wall clock here in West Michigan, it is a cold, dark, dreary, rainy, ugly day. It absolutely sucks. And it's going to be like this until I think until all this week and next week. Gray, rainy, dreary days. Cold. It was like 37 degrees the other day. I thought there was snow slush coming down. But I'm sitting here in my main study. My wife just left to visit her brother and to do errands. So I came into my main study to make this video. I'm on page 977 in my 2017 diary. Pretty soon we'll be in the 11th month, the first day of November. And then we'll be into December, and then we'll come to the year of 2017. And then on January the 1st, 2018, I will start on page 1 again. I am sure I'll hit 1,000 pages for the year 2017 if I don't die, if we're not attacked by a Russian missile. I just read the other day that the Russians now have a missile that they can launch that can destroy a whole country. Isn't that amazing? One missile can be fired, can destroy a whole country. Now, I didn't say how big that country is. Is it like Switzerland, Kenya, United States? It didn't say. So that's comforting to think about when you are reading books. As far as what I'm reading, this morning I got out. I've been reading that book on Sanctification, New Studies in Dogmatics by Michael Allen, and I've been kind of bugged by it because I'm reading the chapter on covenant, and it's just basic Reformed covenantal theology, which I don't agree with, but I've been reading that. I don't believe in Reformed covenantal theology. I believe in biblical theology, biblical covenantal theology. And I've been reading this the last couple of days. I finished rereading her trip to Echo Springs on Writers and Drinking. I did a reread of that. I finished that. And I started reading this the other day, The Lonely City, Adventures in the Art of Being Alone by Olivia Laing. She's really a good writer. It's kind of like a memoir. She looks, a dazzling work of biography, memoir, and cultural criticism on the subject of loneliness, told through the lives of iconic artists by the acclaimed author of Trip to Echo Springs. So she looks at the life of Andy Warhol and Edward Hopper, the painter, and other artists. So I really I really liked her Echo Springs writers and drinking, and I'm really enjoying this. So I've been reading those, and I don't know what else I've been reading. I've been reading the Bible. Let me see here. Look at my diary. I've been reading The Lonely City, The Art of Being Alone, Sanctification. That's basically what I've been reading. And I finished Trip to Echo Springs, and I was reading the Ascent of Mount Carmel by St. John of the Cross. I pretty much finished that. The last couple of chapters on Book 3 of the Ascent of Mount Carmel, St. John of the Cross goes into discussing the dangers and the benefits of worshiping images. Like if you go into a Catholic church, you'll see all these images like of Christ on a cross, or you'll see statues of the Virgin Mary, or statues of Saint Joseph, or you'll see all these images were statues. And St. John of the Cross, in the end of the Ascent of Mount Carmel, sets forth spiritual direction on the benefits and the dangers of revering statues. So I don't know. I didn't read the last couple of pages. I kind of got burnt out on it. So, and then I started reading that book on sanctification right here. So yeah, I've been reading writing in my diary. I've been watching the birds. I've been going to thrift stores around here. But I wanted to show you the books I got in the mail last week. And they're just, I haven't shown these in a video. I got this Istanbul Memories and the City with a new introduction by the author of Orhan Pamuk, winner of the Nobel Prize. This is the deluxe edition. I have all his works in our library. I have his Istanbul Memories in the City in paperback, but when I found out that they're going to do a deluxe edition, I bought that. It has all kinds of great photos, and I like books on Istanbul, books on Paris, books on San Francisco, New York City, Paris. I have books on Rome, books on cities like that. So yeah, see, I got the deluxe edition of Istanbul, Memories of the City. It's kind of like his memoir of him growing up in Istanbul. He's always lived there his whole life. He lives in the same building that his parents when he was born in. So I got that. And then I got in the mail, so here's that book on Trip to Echo Springs on writers and drinking. Really good book. And I got in the mail The Shadow in the Garden, a biographer's tale by James Atlas. I really, several years ago, I read James Atlas's biography of Saul Bellows, the writer. I really enjoyed this. It's a great biography of Saul Bellows. He also wrote this biography, Delmore Swartz, The Life of an American Poet by James Atlas. James Atlas, I haven't read this. It's on my to-be-read list, which is miles and miles long, but I've always wanted to read this. I found this at Salvation Army a couple years ago, along with Delmore Swartz's short stories, In Dream Begin, Responsibilities, and Other Stories. Last night I was going through all my poetry anthologies because he was a poet and I couldn't find any poetry by him. I went through all my beat books, modern poetry anthologies. Couldn't find any of his poetry. I'm sure it's online, but I have this. James Atlas. I showed you this a couple months ago. I got this at a thrift store. The Book Wars, What It Takes to Be Educated in America by James Atlas. I highly recommend this essay. So, yeah, I recommend The Shadow in the Garden, A Biographer's Tale, by James Atlas. I recommend that. And then I got in the mail Schlesinger, the Imperial historian. I have all the, he's a historian. He's famous for the first 1,000 days, which was the Kennedy administration, John F. Kennedy. He was a speechwriter, an advisor to John F. Kennedy, and he also wrote a 2-volume biography on John F. Kennedy's brother, Robert Kennedy. He also wrote a biography on Andrew Jackson, which is very famous. I have his letters. I have his memoir. I have other books by author Schlesinger Jr. So yeah, he lived from 1917 to 2007, known today as the architect of John F. Kennedy's presidential legacy, blazed an extraordinary path from Harvard University to wartime London to the West Wing. The son of a pioneering historian, the 2-time Pulitzer Prize and National Book Award winner in his own right, Schlesinger redefined the art of presidential biography. 1,000 Days, his best-selling and immensely influential record of the Kennedy administration, cemented Schlesinger's place as one of the nation's greatest political image makers and a key figure of the intellectual elite, a peer and contemporary of Reinhold Niebuhr and Isaiah Berlin and Adlai Stevenson. So I look forward to reading this biography. I've got so many biographies that I bought this year that probably go like this high. But I wanted to get this because I collect his historical writings. So I got that in the mail. So I got this Schlesinger, the Imperial. So he wrote a book called The Imperial Presidency, which I recommend. That's why it's called The Imperial Historian. He wrote a book called The Imperial Presidency, which is a very interesting book. See if it's mentioned back here. Let me see. The first book I bought by Schlesinger was a long time ago, The Cycles of American History. And then I read the Imperial Presidency. Then he wrote a book. He wrote The Age of Jackson, The Crisis of the Old Order, 1919 to 1933, The Age of Roosevelt, Volume 1, The Coming of the New Deal, 1933 to 1935, The Age of Roosevelt, Volume 2. I have all those in our library. So I got that in the mail. So yeah, let me pick up this pen. So I got those in the mail. I got a bunch of thrift store books, but I'm not going to show those because it make the video too long. My wife's working the next 3 nights, and so I'll show those in my next video, the thrift store books. I haven't got any books coming in the mail this week. I got some CDs coming in the mail. But that's about it. I'm not going to show these thrift store books. So I got thrift store books. And I got these thrift store books. But I'll show those in my next video. Because, hey, there's always next time. So, yeah, thank you for the new subscribers. I've enjoyed the comments. I've enjoyed the interaction with you guys and girls. out there. Was it guys and gals? And yeah, so I'm doing okay. My wife's been back. Our new granddaughter's doing fine. Marika Rose. All the next month, our daughter is coming with her family, her husband Andy, our grandchildren Louisa and Margaret, and our little baby grandson Jack will be here. According to my November diary, they'll be here on the 13th of November for a couple of days. So that'd be nice to see them, because I have not held in my arms our granddaughter Margaret or our new grandson Jack. So I look forward to their visit and talking to Beth and Andy and Louisa and Margaret and Jack. Carol's all excited, Grandma. She's already collecting clothes and toys and magazines and books and treats and everything. Carol loves being a grandma. So I will sign off, and until next time, bye.